It's intensely personal. It's getting more personal. They're going to discover more information that's going to make them angry. They're out to salvage their reputation. So there's not going to be an easy way to walk away from this and say, okay, let's just call it a day.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds just got exposed big time after their legal circus completely fell apart. Fake witnesses, bribery attempts, and shady legal tricks. Nothing is hidden anymore.
Juries don't like liars. Trials are about credibility.
Judge Lyman saw right through their Hollywood manipulation, and now their entire case is crumbling faster than Blake's credibility.
She wants different rules for her than she wants for Baldoni and his team, which I don't think the judge will agree with.
Blake Lively thought she could waltz into court, toss around fancy legal jargon, shed a few fake tears, and walk out victorious. Yeah, no, that plan backfired spectacularly. Her career is so scorched she might as well retire and open a bakery. Judge Lyman, who's had the patience of a saint, finally hit his limit and called her lawsuit exactly what it is, a full-blown PR circus. The truth is out.
So her testimony is super important in this case, and if you can show the jury that she's lied, juries don't like liars.
This wasn't a real case or serious legal battle. It was a full-blown media stunt meant to manipulate public perception. But the only one being played is Blake herself, as the entire scheme has completely backfired, exploding in her face like an overinflated balloon.
Well, actually, what I said last time is, of the 92-8 split, which is 92% of cases settled and 8 don't, this does meet criteria of being within that 8%. Because it's intensely personal.
But wait, it gets even better. Just when this case seemed maxed out on absurdity, a leaked Aram manual audio recording surfaced. And trust me, it's the kind of smoking gun lawyers dream about. This isn't just any evidence, it's Hollywood's dirty little secret, now blasting at full volume.
And so I think there could be some argument about whether it was leaked and shouldn't have been leaked and should they have the information or what it may be, but no matter what happens, this is a damning quote.
Emmanuel, one of Hollywood's most powerful agents, admitted that Justin Baldoni was blacklisted, not for any wrongdoing, but for his friendships with the wrong people. And by wrong, we mean Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, the power couple who thought they could treat Hollywood like their own personal playground.
This dispute, these words that were said by Lively's side, had a clear, immediate negative impact on Baldoni's career.
Let's break this down. WME, Baldoni's former agency, cut ties with him after Lively made her allegations public. Not due to actual proof, but because Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds had the right connections to pull strings and manipulate things behind the scenes.
But what I think we're seeing now with this quote is WME absolutely got rid of him because of these things that were said. And so now he's got a clear line to get damage support.
Thanks to this leaked audio, it's no longer speculation, it's fact. Judge Lyman now has hard evidence that Blake's side manipulated the industry to destroy Baldoni's career. Her entire case is built on lies, and everyone sees it, the judge, the lawyers, and probably even her own PR team, who are likely searching for the nearest exit.
I think this is inching towards that percentage of lawsuits that don't settle. We could very well see a trial in this case.
And just when things couldn't get shadier, the Freakonomics podcast episode with the Emmanuel audio mysteriously vanished. Now, when the one episode that could expose Hollywood corruption suddenly disappears, it raises serious questions, like, how much power do these people really have, and what else are they hiding?
If you have somebody who has a significant amount of power in the industry and has the ability to tell stars not to go on your podcast in the future, and has general ability to make life uncomfortable for you and ask for a favor, you're more inclined to do it, right?
Let's talk about Blake Lively's real talent, her Oscar-worthy performance in lying and manipulating the legal system. If the Academy gave awards for Best Actress in a fake lawsuit, she'd sweep every category. She's rewritten her own story more times than a high schooler faking a last-minute essay.
Oh, just from a PR standpoint, if they both struck an agreement and walked away, that would be the smartest thing. Because it was never going to get any better from Lively after when she filed that California Civil Rights Division pre-complaint, right?
Her original complaint was already ridiculous, but then, like magic, she suddenly remembered new details, stretching it into a 180-page epic. For perspective, most lawsuits of this type are only 20 to 25 pages. But Blake? She turned hers into a Lord of the Rings novel, clearly hoping that if she piled on enough nonsense, no one would actually read it closely.
Okay, so I was able to read the amended complaint, which, by the way, it's very abnormal. It's almost 180 pages, 400 and some odd paragraphs. Complaints are not normally that long, but this one has to be for public consumption.
But people did read it, and guess what? It's one of Hollywood's most blatant PR-driven lawsuits. Legal analysts tore it apart, noting that most of it isn't even legal claims, it's pure media manipulation. If you need 180 pages to prove something happened, chances are, nothing actually did.
So it kind of makes them look like they're trying to take that video now that it's out and kind of spin it in a different direction.
And let's not forget Blake's most humiliating screw-up. She swore she had a shocking video proving Baldoni's guilt. She hyped it as the ultimate smoking gun. Then the full video leaked, and guess what? It showed her smiling, participating, and completely comfortable. Talk about a backfire.
And that's why you think, like you mentioned before, that you think this video is the most damning evidence that Baldoni has so far.
I think so. And it's better than worse.
Let me say it again for the people in the back. The key evidence Blake built her case around turned out to be the exact opposite of her claims. She flat out lied, and when she got caught, instead of owning up to it, she just changed her story again.
It seems insurmountable. It seems like this case cannot be settled.
Suddenly her new excuse was that Baldoni wasn't in character and that she was being forced to act like she liked him. Hello, you're an actress, that's literally your job.
Really what they did is they said, well, yes, all of that happened, but when Baldoni was in that scene dancing, he wasn't in character. And she was being forced to act as though she loved him, which is, in my mind, just acting.
What's next? Leonardo DiCaprio suing because he had to pretend to be in love in Titanic. The sheer stupidity of this argument is mind-blowing. She went from this scene traumatized me to oh wait, I was just forced to act. Well, Blake, one thing's clear, you definitely weren't forced to act well.
Blake Lively had changed some stuff up in her amended complaint. Now she is describing that dancing scene very differently than she did in her first complaint.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Legal experts say that if even one lie is found in her testimony, the jury can dismiss her entire statement. And guess what? She's been caught lying multiple times. When this goes to trial, her credibility is already dead on arrival. She tried to play the victim, rewrite history, and manipulate public perception, but instead, she just torched her own case beyond repair.
Her testimony won't even count. And that is that's a harsh reality, because if the jury chooses not to listen to anything she has to say, she's the best witness in this case.
Instead of realizing her lawsuit is a sinking ship, what does Blake do? She doubles down. Every time she's exposed, she invents another ridiculous excuse, making her case look even more pathetic. It's like watching someone dig a hole, get stuck, and instead of stopping, just dig faster.
I think this is like one of those cases that has enough of the bad feelings on both sides that it could potentially show up in a trial.
At this point, even Hollywood, the place that lets celebrities get away with almost anything, is looking at this lawsuit and saying, yeah, this is embarrassing. Blake Lively could have walked away quietly, but she pushed too far. Now, she's in too deep with nowhere to run, and the narrative has completely shifted against her.
That shifted the narrative, and she could have walked away and probably had a PR victory just off that document. Now, I think with the lawsuit going and both sides firing guns at each other, I think it's not going to get any better for either of them.
Let's be real, Ryan Reynolds must be horrified watching this disaster unfold. He built his career on being Hollywood's funny, likable guy, and now he's tied to one of the most humiliating legal screw-ups ever. They thought their power, connections, and influence could control the narrative and bury the truth.
So they're trying to skew it kind of a different way.
But this time, they failed. Everyone sees right through it. Blake Lively thought she could finesse her way out of this disaster by throwing money around, a classic celebrity move. When lies don't work, just write checks and hope the problem disappears. But judges don't play that game, and Lively just learned that the hard way. Her desperation hit overdrive when her team secretly pushed for an attorney's eyes-only protection order.
Because jurors are very bright, especially collectively. When they're all together, they all come from varied backgrounds. They're the smartest people in the room collectively, and they generally get the right result.
For those who don't speak legalese, this means Blake wanted to hide key evidence from everyone except lawyers. Not even Justin Baldoni or the judge could see it. And why would someone do that? There's only one logical explanation: she's hiding something so incriminating, so career-ending, she's willing to bend the law to keep it buried.
Because it's intensely personal. It's getting more personal. They're going to discover more information that's going to make them angry.
Let's talk about how suspiciously specific this bribery situation is. A shady inside source revealed there were 100 million reasons why Lively's team was desperate to bury this evidence. Now, call me crazy, but that sounds a lot like a bribe, a nine-figure bribe. Imagine being so desperate to erase the truth that you're allegedly willing to throw that kind of money at the problem. This isn't just your typical Hollywood cover-up, this is straight-up judicial corruption territory. And guess what? Judge Lyman wasn't having any of it. He saw right through the scheme and refused to play along.
So her testimony is super important in this case, and if you can show the jury that she's lied, juries don't like liars. Trials are about credibility.
Judge Lyman has watched Blake Lively's nonsense unfold for months, and he shut it down on sight. He basically told her team, nice try, but the law doesn't work that way, the best part. He reminded them that courts serve the public, not entitled celebrities who think they can buy justice. You know it's bad when a judge has to explain that the legal system isn't for sale.
Trials are about the truth, and juries want the truth, and if you lie to them, they will hold it against you.
But of course, Blake Lively wasn't done embarrassing herself. Since the asterisk let's just bribe our way out strategy failed, her team pulled another classic Hollywood move, playing the celebrity victim card. They argued that releasing certain evidence could cause irreparable harm to who? Her career, her marriage, her ego. The only real damage happening here is to her own credibility, and she's the one causing it.
Blake Lively made, and she lied in their minds about what occurred during that dancing scene because she wasn't aware that there was audio that would maybe explain and give some context to what was happening there. So of course she changes her in her amended complaint, she changes the view of it a little bit.
And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, lawyer Brian Freeman stepped in and completely wrecked Lively's argument with one simple sentence. Asterisk, just because they're celebrities doesn't mean they get different laws. Asterisk translation? Sit down, Blake, no VIP treatment in court. You can almost hear her legal team sigh in defeat. They've tried everything: fake evidence, bribery, playing the victim, and every single attempt has flopped spectacularly.
Yeah, and you better hope that these HR complaints are genuine and credible. There's some credibility to them, because if we do learn that these were brought about by Blake Lively and her team, it's just going to compound already all the other bad facts that they're dealing with.
Speaking of flopping spectacularly, let's talk about the fake witnesses. Blake Lively and her PR team truly outdid themselves with this stunt. After realizing their legal arguments were dead on arrival, they went for Plan Z: fabricate anonymous accusers and hope people blindly believe them.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got on Baldoni's side, you have one of the most aggressive entertainment lawyers in Hollywood. On the other side, you have very good lawyers in New York, and they are poised for battle. I don't think they're thinking right now at all about...
Yes, they actually rolled out 2 anonymous actresses claiming to have similar experiences with Baldoni. But here's the kicker: they weren't even named in the lawsuit. No initials, no official documentation, nothing. Just trust us, they exist. If these witnesses were so credible and important, why are they completely invisible? Because if they were real, they'd be testifying in court, not being conveniently leaked through Hollywood gossip blogs. Everyone sees right through it.
I think they probably won't listen to any experts or advisors or lawyers at this point. It doesn't sound like this because they make so many mistakes and bad decisions.
Even Hollywood insiders started calling out the BS. Multiple media outlets refused to publish complaints against Baldoni because they had zero credibility. When even the press, the same press that jumps on any scandal they can find, won't touch a story, you know it's complete nonsense.
That's Blake Lively's PR firm begging to be let go of the case. I think actually they may have the worst messages of all.
Let's talk about how embarrassing it is when even your own media allies don't trust your evidence. The Hollywood Reporter, which has openly favored Lively, had to leak the witness information themselves, because no real news outlet would touch it. That's right, even the mainstream media wasn't buying what she was selling. You have to be a special kind of terrible at lying for the press to refuse to help you out.
Or you could get into it and just get completely obliterated, because lawsuits are not pleasant. But it sounds like you have grounds to file a lawsuit.
At this point, Blake Lively is throwing everything at the wall, hoping something sticks. But guess what? Nothing is. She's so deep in her own nonsense that even her former supporters are backing away like she's contagious. And if you thought that was bad, just wait, because her team just hit a new level of absurdity. Believe it or not, Lively's team is now accusing Justin Baldoni of being too nice. Yes, you heard that correctly. Apparently, when all else fails, just attack someone for having good vibes. Her PR team actually pushed a Los Angeles Times hit piece claiming Baldoni has toxic positivity. I wish I were making this up. They literally tried to frame kindness as a crime. One of the actual complaints? He encouraged employees to sign emails with so much love. What's next? Suing a barista for writing "Have a great day" on a coffee cup.
And it's only to try to take back the narrative that Baldoni's team has done a very good job of it. And perhaps the reason they've done such a good job, the Baldoni's team, is because they have more truth on their side than perhaps Blake Lively does.
And it gets even dumber. Another complaint he gave clothes to homeless people and filmed it. That's right, helping the less fortunate is now a scandal. We've officially reached the point where celebrities are grasping at accusations so ridiculous they sound like bad satire.
Leaked HR complaints that was circulated around last week, and a lot of people commented on them. They were not picked up by the press because they looked quite suspicious.
And let's not forget that Candace Owens absolutely shredded this nonsense. She roasted Lively's entire case by saying, imagine living in a world where you can sue someone for being too happy at work. And honestly, that's exactly the level of stupidity we're dealing with. Subscribe now, because this legal disaster is only getting messier and you don't want to miss a single exposed lie.